Okay, so you have a top view and a bottom view here. I'm sorry, top view and a side view. So this represents the top view. This represents the bottom view. I'm sorry, side view. In terms of the plane that we're going to be drawing our yin yang symbol or our yang circles or our yin circles. So you can see here from the top view, right? This is the head, this is the shoulders, and then so that circle will be drawn. It's essentially a parallel circle to the ground. And then this plane here is nothing new. This plane here, perpendicular to the ground. Yeah, the vertical plane. So horizontal plane and vertical plane here. So we'll try to do the yang circles, right? So in this case here, let's see if I do that. That kind of helps me. So left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder. So if, oh wait, is that right? Yeah, left shoulder. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the screen. Sorry, this would be the left. This is the left. Left shoulder, right shoulder. So left shoulder, following this arrow, it's going to be yang circle. Opposite will be yin circle. We'll figure it out. And then right shoulder. Yeah, right shoulder here. If we're going this way, it's going to be yin. This way, it's going to be yang, right? And you can choose to remember that or not. It's not really important. Nevertheless, circling S transition to change directions, S transition at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock. You could even do at 3 or 9 o'clock. And of course, these can be switched. It doesn't matter. And then in this case, here, so this will be the yang circle. And remember, even in the yang and the yin circle, there is yin and yang. So in the yang circle, its yin aspect is this way, right? And then yin circle would be coming this way. S transition here at the 12 o'clock or the 6 o'clock. Or you can do the start the S transition here or even here. Typically, when you're doing this sort of movements, and you'll actually see in Tai Chi ball, you typically try to engage and initiate the S transition here because it's closer to the center. So if you want to start to apply that, that's a good principle to start adhering to. Changing your circle here, adding an S transition here because you have your hands close to your center, and it's easier to change direction. So when the hands are out away from you, it's more difficult to change direction. Okay, let's give it a shot. See if we have any questions. Okay. So we'll begin with 1 foot forward. And let's see, we'll start with both hands forward. And we're essentially going to make that horizontal circle. Make that horizontal circle in front. And then now we've got that top view image, right? So we're just going to play around with rocking forward and backward here. Allowing our pace to set, allowing the breath to get involved, become involved, and coordinate with our movement. As we sit back, we'll inhale and we'll exhale forward. And once we start to do that, start to feel the ankle in that back leg, feeling that open up. So you're starting to connect to your feet, starting to connect to your joints. You feel the front leg's knee bending and the leg extending. Let's try to balance this out in the legs. So we're going to switch our stances. Go ahead and open up the joints on the other side. So in this vertical or horizontal plane, as we're looking at our arms, identifying the circle, we realize that the forward and back movement give us a linear movement. And once we add the rotation of the torso, rotating left or rotating right, that's going to give us an opposite movement. And we can see once we combine those, we get more of a circle. This point doesn't really matter which direction you're going. You're just trying to get an idea of a circular pattern and a circular movement. And I'm keeping the shoulders static, keeping the elbows static, wrists and fingers static, and just exploring the movement in the legs and in the torso, specifically the waist as the torso rotates. Change direction here. And you're also combining that rotation with the forward and back movement. The forward and back movement. Let's go ahead and switch legs. We'll balance it out. Arms or shoulders might start to become fatigued. All we want to do then in that case is just simply drop them lower, maybe to about waist or belly button height. Ideally, you'd like to become comfortable holding them at shoulder height. But anywhere from shoulder height to waist height, that's a good spectrum to have. Go ahead and change direction to the circle that you are currently drawing. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take one hand to the dantian. And the hand that you're going to keep forward is the same side of the leg that's forward. So it might become difficult, it might get a little confusing as to how you're circling, what joints you're using. So let's just start by rocking forward and back again. Start by rocking forward and back again. We're getting that, just that linear movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit back and we're going to rotate to the side of the elbow. Right? Then we're going to rock forward and circle back to the center. So see if you can identify one half moon and the other half moon, or one side of the circle and the other side of the circle. So for example, when I sit back, in this case first, I'm just going straight back. And then when I rock forward, I'm starting to rotate. As I sit forward, go ahead and continue to draw the rest of the circle, other half of the circle, as you're sitting back, and circle forward. So you've got a sort of elbow side of the circle, and then really you've got an empty side of the circle, if you will. So let's see, I can see Dennis, and he's mirroring me. But for me, my right arm is forward. So I'm currently doing yin circles. Let's see if we can change direction. If you want, you can add an S transition. If not, you can just reverse the circle. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and switch legs and switch arms. So we've done the yin side and the yang side of this side. We're going to go ahead and switch arms, switch legs. We're going to sit back and circle to the elbow side. Rock forward, circle back to center. Go ahead and continue that circle, sit back, circle to the elbow side, and rock forward, circle to the center. Continue circling as you sit back, elbow side, and rock forward. So essentially, you just want a nice, smooth, continuous motion here. Staying within your range and trying to coordinate the breath with the movement. Trying to get into that state where you're relaxed, feeling like you can just sustain the movement to eternity. Change directions. If you can, see if you can add an S transition. Otherwise, just change directions of the circle. Notice really, we're not really moving the arm so much. Arm's staying pretty static. All the movement is coming from the legs and the torso rotation. Here in a second, we're going to explore, though, the arm and the joints in the arms. And remember, you can have the hand as high as the shoulder height or as low as the belly button or waist, and just exploring those that spectrum is totally okay. Let's switch sides again. We're going to do the same movements. We're going to do the same patterns. So I'm going to sit back, rotate to the elbow side, circle, continue to circle as I sit back, rotating to the elbow side, rocking forward, circling. Okay. As mentioned, notice the arm is pretty static, right? So we want to bring in the quality of softness into the body, into the nervous system, and into the joints. Essentially the mind-body landscape. Okay, so what we're going to do is, obviously the waist is soft because we're continuously rotating it from right when we sit back and from left when we sit forward, rock forward, right? The waist has that continuous movement. Let's also engage and incorporate the shoulder and chest bow. Right? So how are we going to do that? We're going to place our mind, on the shoulder and just allow the shoulder now to become loose and move softly, same way as and following suit as the waist. So applying this soft quality, you in a way, you're sort of exaggerating the movement by getting into the tissues of the shoulder and around the shoulder to draw the same circle. And just get a sense of how that feels. So for example, you're rocking forward, you're just sort of separating the shoulder just a little bit, engaging those tissues. When you're rocking back, you're pulling the shoulder in. Essentially that shoulder girdle. You're circling out, you're expressing a shoulder out just a little bit, separating it from the shoulder girdle, and then you're circling back and in, pulling it in. So we're applying this internal ball and external ball. You've heard me talk about that before. Internal ball being the belly, abdomen, dantian, internal gut system, to the external ball. Eventually the external ball is that which is in the hand, but we're just sort of drawing the path. So from the shoulder now, we're going to go to the elbow, applying that same quality of softness in the elbow joint. Remember, you can have your hand as high as the shoulder or as low as the waist, but we're just trying to pay attention now to the shoulder joint and the elbow joint as we touch our hand to the abdomen, continuing to sustain attention from the abdomen to the shoulder and to the elbow. See how that feels. You can change direction if you like. Okay, let's take that awareness now to the wrist. Allow the wrist to become soft and to move. When you pull back, shoulder, elbow, wrist pulls back. You rock forward, shoulder, elbow, wrist opens up. And let that movement go into the fingers too. Feel that quality of softness. You can open the fingers if you like. Maybe stretch them out. engage them and open them. And then when you come back, sit back, you close everything. When you rock forward, you open everything. When you come in, rocking back, you're closing everything. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides now. Doesn't really matter which direction you're circling. So for me, my left side is forward. And so I'm drawing yang circles. Firstly, the arm is static, right? The joints are quite stagnant, closed, they're rigid until we start to add that quality of softness. So that same quality of softness that's in the waist as we're rotating, bring that to the shoulder, start to articulate the shoulder, coordinated with the abdomen. Feel free to change directions if you like. The direction of the circle is essentially not important at this point. What's important is the quality of softness in the joint. Let's now go from shoulder to elbow. Now to wrist. And I'm just changing directions just as I see fit. Feel free to do that. So now the whole hand, all the way to the fingers, whole arm, all the way to the fingers, has that quality of softness moving in unison with the Dantian internal ball. Now, let's harden the arm again. Harden the arm again. Make those joints static. So now all that soft is really the legs, the joints in the legs, and the waist. Get a sense and a feeling for the contrast here. So we're going to close out this phase. So now we're going to connect the arms again to the position that we were. I'm going to switch legs. And we're connecting the arms to that first position we were at. Now let's go back to just rocking forward, rocking back. Arms here are static. So the joints are fixed, they're rigid. Now go to both shoulders, both elbows, both wrists, and apply that quality of softness to the joints and to the arms, similar to what we just did. So when you sit back, allow the joints to close in. And when you rock forward, allow the joints to extend out. Let the movement be natural with your breathing pace. And try to just slow down the movement. Let's go ahead and bring the feet together. We're dropping the hands, continuing to hold the circle. All right, we're going to do a little bit more movement and repetition. We're going to bend the knees, sink down, allow the arms also to open. We're going to inhale, rise up, allow the arms to rise as well and come in. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, rise up, close the circle. Exhale, sink down. Now bring the movement in to a close. Bring all of the joints of the body and the whole body all to a static, closed posture. Now let's go ahead and relax the arms. Allow the palms to stay connected. Keep your mental attention and awareness from palm to palm as the arms are relaxed, elbows relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Inhale and lengthen up your posture. Feel your posture erect, spine lengthen, chin slightly tucked in. Good. Okay. Any questions on that? On that movement? We're going to now transition to the vertical plane and the perpendicular to the ground. And we just did the horizontal. Okay. I'll go ahead and continue. If not. So we're going to start in the same position, same posture. Okay. In this case, I'll give you the side view, right? So if I start off with both hands rocking forward, sitting back, rocking forward, sitting back. Now the circle is in the vertical plane. So I'm going to release the hands, drop down, closing spine, lifting spine, opening spine, extending hands and arms, top part of the circle, and then sitting back, bottom part of the circle, circling up, top part of the circle, and bottom part of the circle. Now we've got that vertical plane. Inhaling back, exhaling forward. So on your own now, as you do the circles, go ahead and play with the joints, hard, rigid, static, or soft, flexible, pliable. I'm going to switch sides, switch legs. And even change directions of the circle as well. The yin circle is a little bit more challenging, especially if you're trying to stay connected Dantian to hands and circling the Dantian in a yin circle. So that's more challenging. If you want to stay with the yang circle, feel free to do that. Let's come back to the center. We'll have the feet parallel. Let's relax the hands and arms down and close the spine. Open spine and inhale to lift the arms and hands. Exhale, close the spine, relax the arms and hands. Bend knees as well. Inhale, extend from the legs. Open spine, raising hands. And exhale, sinking, falling. Bending knees, closing spine. Should feel your pelvis tuck in a little bit. And inhale. Extend legs, open spine, lift hands. And exhale. On your own, at your own pace. Now let's just let the arms relax, keeping connection of the palms toward one another. Holding this position, we're going to go ahead and close the eyes. Okay, let's go ahead and relax. We can sit down, see if there's any questions.